You ever get that feeling that your brain just isn't firing like it used to? You walk into a room and forget why you're there. You start telling a story, and suddenly you can't remember how it ends. Maybe it's a word, a name, a date. It slips out of your mind like water through your fingers. And if you're over 65, maybe you've told yourself, well, this is just part of getting older. But here's the truth most doctors don't say out loud. What you eat might be making things worse, and what you choose to eat from now on could change everything. That's not an exaggeration. That's not clickbait. That's something I learned firsthand from a man named Raymond, 72 years old, retired electrical engineer, proud grandfather of 5, and someone who started noticing his brain wasn't quite as sharp as it used to be. He told me one day, "I keep thinking like my thoughts are stuck in a slow lane." He wasn't scared, not at first. But when he forgot his youngest granddaughter's name during a birthday toast, that moment broke him. He said he sat in his car afterward for 10 minutes and just cried. Now, Raymond is not a man who gives up easily. He's old school, tough-minded. But that night he realized something had to change. And it started with his plate. He didn't try supplements or expensive memory pills. No, he started by changing what he ate in the morning and before bed. He went back to what he calls nature's logic. Elderly wisdom passed down from his grandfather, who lived to 96. That wisdom: start with food that fights inflammation and fuels memory. The first thing he added: blueberries. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Blueberries? That's it? But here's the part most folks don't know. Blueberries aren't just healthy. They're brain fuel. Real brain fuel. They're loaded with something called anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that protect your brain from oxidative stress. That's a fancy way of saying they slow down the aging, but more than that, they actually help improve memory. A study from the University of Exeter showed that seniors who consumed blueberries daily had stronger memory and better blood flow to the brain. That's not a small benefit. That's the kind of change that can help you remember your daughter's birthday or follow the story your grandson tells you over dinner. And Raymond, he started eating half a cup of blueberries every morning. Sometimes with oatmeal, sometimes with yogurt, sometimes just plain. He didn't miss a single day for 2 months. And by week 3, he told me something had shifted. "I feel like my thoughts have room to move again," he said. And then he said something I'll never forget. "I didn't realize how foggy my brain had gotten until it started to clear." Now, if that doesn't sound like hope, I don't know what does. That's why here at Elderly Reflections, we're not just about science, we're about stories. Real stories. Stories that carry elderly wisdom, stories that pass on what works. Motivation doesn't mean anything without action. And what Raymond did was simple but powerful. He chose to believe that life after 65 still has chapters worth writing. And he started with breakfast. But the second food, that's where things get really interesting. It's not sweet, it's not fancy, it's not something you'll find on the cover of a health magazine. But for seniors, it might be one of the most underrated power foods out there: pumpkin seeds. Yes, pumpkin seeds, tiny, crunchy, often overlooked, but they're packed with magnesium, zinc, and iron, all of which are critical for brain health. And let me tell you why that matters. After 65, your body's ability to absorb these minerals drops, and when you don't get enough magnesium, your brain doesn't rest properly. Your sleep suffers, your memory fades, your heart rate gets erratic. Now, here's the kicker. Pumpkin seeds are also rich in tryptophan, the amino acid that helps your body produce serotonin and melatonin. That means better mood during the day and deeper sleep at night. Grace, a woman I met in Ireland, 68 years old, widowed for nearly a decade, told me she'd gone months without sleeping through the night. She felt exhausted, unfocused, and more than that, she felt like her brain was stuck in neutral. Her daughter, a nutritionist, suggested something incredibly simple: half a handful of pumpkin seeds an hour before bed, with a cup of chamomile tea. That's it. No pills, no therapy, no complicated regimen. Within 2 weeks, she was sleeping deeper and waking up clearer. She told me, "I used to think my days were just getting slower. Now I realize I was just running on empty." Let that sink in, a 68-year-old woman. So let me ask you, when was the last time you gave your brain a break? I mean a real break. One that comes not from medication, but from listening to your body. You don't need a miracle. You need a routine. Half a cup of blueberries in the morning, a small handful of pumpkin seeds at night. That's it. That's how you begin. Not tomorrow, tonight. I'm not saying it'll change your life overnight, but I am saying this: you'll never know how good your brain could feel again until you give it what it's missing. Raymond did, Grace did, and now, maybe it's your turn. If this story hit home, I want to hear from you. Are you watching from the UK, maybe Germany or Australia. Wherever you are, drop it in the comments below. I read everyone. And if you believe in motivation and elderly reflections, in quotes and life lessons from the elderly that actually matter, then click like, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, and turn on that little bell icon so you don't miss what's coming next. In the next section, we'll explore a golden drink that works to reduce inflammation as you sleep, and a leafy green that has the potential to stabilize your memory, both backed by science and grounded in stories just like yours. Let me ask you something. How do you treat the final hours of your day? Do you see them as a time to rest or as a time to reset? Because here's what most seniors don't realize. Your brain doesn't stop working when you go to sleep. In fact, that's when it works the hardest. It sorts through memories, it clears out waste, it recharges every cell for the day ahead. But here's the catch. If you're not giving your body the right tools before bed, your brain can't do its job. And after 65, that matters more than ever. In the beginning of this journey, we explored two powerful brain foods, blueberries and pumpkin seeds. Simple, natural, backed by both science and story. But tonight I want to take you even deeper, because this next food doesn't just support memory and sleep. It soothes the nervous system, protects the heart, and helps reduce the silent inflammation that steals clarity bit by bit, night after night. It starts with a drink, warm, golden, ancient. It's known in some cultures as liquid calm. I'm talking about turmeric milk, also called golden milk. And if you've never tried it before, let me tell you why seniors around the world are quietly discovering it as one of the best evening habits they've ever adopted. Turmeric contains curcumin, one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories ever studied. It fights swelling in the brain, supports better blood flow, and even helps reduce the buildup of beta-amyloid plaques, which are linked to memory loss and cognitive decline. That's not just folk medicine. A 2018 study in the American Journal of Geriatry followed older adults over 18 months and found that those taking curcumin had significantly better memory scores and even improved mood. But here's what makes turmeric modelma more special. It pairs the curcumin with warm milk, which helps your body absorb it better, and adds natural fats that support melatonin production. So not only does it fight inflammation, it also calms the mind before sleep. Now let me tell you about Walter. He's 76, a former naval officer from Glasgow, Scotland. After his wife passed, he told me his nights became hollow. He couldn't sleep more than 3 or 4 hours. He'd wake up with a racing mind, a stiff back, and a heart that felt like it was carrying 100 pounds of sorrow. His granddaughter, a student of nutrition, made him a promise. "Grandpa, give me 7 nights." That's all I asked. She showed him how to make golden milk. Half a teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, a little honey, and warm oat milk. He was skeptical, but he said, "What have I got to lose?" On the 3rd night, he slept 6 hours straight. On the 5th, he said his dreams came back. And by the 7th night, he looked in the mirror and said, "I feel like a man again." That's elderly wisdom right there. Not from a lab, not from a pharmaceutical company, from a granddaughter who believed food could be medicine. So here's what you do. 1 cup of warm milk, plant-based or dairy. Stir in half a teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper for absorption, and just a touch of honey or cinnamon if you like. Sip it slowly, like you're giving your body permission to rest. Let it become your signal to the brain that it's time to heal. But we're not done yet, because there's another gift, quiet, green, and often overlooked. Not a fruit, not a root, a leaf, specifically spinach. Now wait, don't scroll past. I know what you're thinking. Spinach before bed? But let me explain why this leafy green might be the missing key in your sleep and memory routine. Spinach is loaded with magnesium, and magnesium plays a critical role in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. For seniors, it helps regulate blood pressure, calm the nervous system, and stabilize heart rhythm. But here's where it gets interesting. It also helps produce serotonin and melatonin. That means better sleep and a more balanced mood. And when eaten in the evening, spinach's natural nitrates help expand blood vessels, improving circulation to the brain while you sleep. That's not just good science, that's good strategy. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 70-year-old widow from Vermont. She was sharp, always reading, always solving crosswords. But she started noticing her balance was off. Her doctor said it might be related to nighttime blood pressure spikes. Instead of medication, she decided to change her evening habits. She added a handful of baby spinach to a small salad every night, dressed it with olive oil and a few slices of avocado. Within a month, not only had her blood pressure stabilized, she said her legs felt lighter in the morning, more awake, more steady. And one day she looked up from her book and said to her son, "I feel like my brain is breathing again." That's what we want for you, not perfection, not a cure, just a calm, clear mind and a steady heart. Because when you nourish yourself with intention, your body remembers how to heal. So tonight, consider this: a warm cup of turmeric milk to soothe your thoughts, a handful of spinach leaves to settle your system. You don't need a feast, you need a ritual. Something small, something sacred, something that tells your body, "I'm still here, I still care." And if this story moved you, let me know in the comments. What do you eat before bed? What will you try tonight? Turmeric milk or spinach salad? And most importantly, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments, I'd love to know. And if you haven't already, click like, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss more elderly wisdom and senior health inspiration from our channel. Elderly reflection. Now in the final section, we'll tie everything together. We'll talk timing, common bedtime mistakes, and a final story that might just change how you look at aging forever. There's something sacred about the final hour of the day, especially when you're older. The calls stop, the TV fades, the light outside the window softens, and suddenly it's just you, your thoughts, your breath, your heartbeat, and in that quiet space, the body begins to heal. If and only if you let it, because healing doesn't just happen. Not anymore. Not after 65. You have to create the conditions for it. That's what we've been talking about in this series. In the first section, we explored the memory-boosting benefits of blueberries and the calming effects of pumpkin seeds. In the second, we introduced the soothing warmth of turmeric milk and the hidden strength of spinach. 4 foods, 4 stories, and now we bring it all together, not with more ingredients, but with intention. With timing, with ritual, with one final story I think you need to hear. His name is George. He's 82, a retired dentist from Vermont. Sharp, dry sense of humor. One of those men who never wasted a word. But after his wife passed, George's nights went silent, too silent. He started skipping dinner. Sometimes he'd just eat crackers or cereal, whatever was quick. He told himself it didn't matter. At my age, why bother? But his daughter noticed. His memory slipped. His hands shook. His sleep turned fragmented and strange. His doctor ran tests. Cholesterol up, blood pressure swinging. But what scared him most, his scans showed early signs of cognitive decline. And that was when his daughter said the words that changed him. "Dad, we need to take back your nights." So they created a tray. Nothing fancy, just a few small intentional things at 8:30 every night. A handful of walnuts, a scoop of Greek yogurt with blueberries, a glass of warm turmeric milk. The lights dimmed, the phone off. No screens, just a quiet room, a soft jazz record, and sometimes a call with his grandkids. After 3 weeks, George said he started dreaming again. After 2 months, his balance improved, his memory clearer. He told me, "I feel like someone wiped the fog off my mirror." And then he said something I'll never forget. "I didn't need more years. I needed better ones." So how do you bring this home? How do you take back your evenings? Start with timing. Your last snack or mini meal should happen at least 1.5 to 2 hours before bed. Not because of calories or diet trends, but because digestion pulls blood away from your brain, and your brain is the organ that needs that power the most while you sleep. So if you're going to eat for your brain, give it the space to use what you give it. Then focus on portion. This isn't a feast. You're not fueling a workout, you're fueling recovery. A small bowl of Greek yogurt with blueberries, a few slices of kiwi or avocado, a handful of spinach drizzled with olive oil, or maybe just 6 pumpkin seeds with a cup of warm turmeric milk. It's not the amount that matters, it's the message. Every small choice tells your body, "I still care about you, I'm still showing up." And that leads us to the most powerful piece of all, ritual. Not routine, ritual. A routine is automatic, a ritual is sacred. It says this matters. It says, "I'm choosing presence." So turn off the television, light a lamp, play some soft music. Sit by the window, prepare your food slowly. Eat it with dignity, maybe write one line in a journal, something you're grateful for, something you're letting go of. Because senior health isn't just about the foods you eat. It's about the person you choose to become in the moments nobody else sees. I want you to imagine something. Imagine your next 30 evenings, not filled with noise or distraction, but with calm, nourishing rhythm. Imagine remembering your dreams, waking up steady, clear, focused. Imagine walking into a room, not forgetting why you're there, but walking in with purpose. That's not fantasy, that's your birthright, but it starts with what you do tonight. So tell me, it's about connection, motivation, real elderly wisdom. It's about the small choices that shape our legacy. So if this series touched something in you, click like, subscribe, and turn on that bell, because we're just getting started. We've got more stories, more science, and more life lessons from the elderly coming your way. Stories that remind you, you are not past your prime. You are standing at the beginning of something sacred. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what did I give my brain today? What did I give my heart to rest easy? And did I do one small thing, just one, that honored the life I've lived and the years I still have left? Because aging isn't something to fear, it's something to finish well. Here's to your next chapter. May it be clear, calm, and unforgettable.